Hi, I'm Andrew Bailey, Curator of Collections here at the Pima Air and Space Museum. When people think of military aerial demonstration teams, they usually think of colorful, fast fighters flying in tight formations across the skies. But there's many other types of demonstration teams, including skydiving teams as well as individual military aircraft that perform at air shows, showing off the combat capabilities of said aircraft. And we're going to start today talking about the Golden Knights and the Fokker C-31A troop ship. Here we are in the main cabin of the aircraft. You can see the seats for the skydivers. They are clearly standard seats from a Fokker Friendship airliner, complete with ashtrays. Here we are in the cockpit of the troop ship, standard pilot and co-pilot stations. It is common practice for the flight and ground crew to sign an aircraft before it goes into retirement. One of the pilots was unable to sign the aircraft on its final flight, and we were honored to have him come to the museum and sign it personally. In 1959, the Strategic Army Command Parachute Team was formed to represent the United States at international skydiving competitions. 2 years later, it was renamed the United States Army Parachute Team and nicknamed the Golden Knights. Over the years, they have performed in all 50 states and 48 countries. They have earned 2,148 gold, 1,117 silver, and 693 bronze medals and have broken 348 world records. The Golden Knights are made up of 5 different teams. The demonstration team performs at air shows and public events. The competition team competes in skydiving competitions. The tandem team performs tandem jumps with other soldiers, head of states, celebrities, and other VIPs. The headquarters team manages and organizes support for jumps and provides public relations for the team. The aviation team provides pilots, crews, and mechanics for the jump planes. The team uses 3 de Havilland UV-18 Twin Otters for tandem and competition teams. For 34 years, the demonstration team used 2 Fokker C-31A troop ships, such as the one on display here at the museum. The Fokker troop ship is a militarized version of the F-27 Friendship airliner developed in the mid-1950s. The C-31A is the U.S. Army designation for the F-27-400M version of the aircraft, which was designed as a combination cargo and passenger aircraft. Only 2 C-31As were purchased by the Army, with both being used by the Army's Golden Knights parachute demonstration team at air shows around the country. This aircraft was built by Fokker in April 1983 and delivered to the U.S. Army in November 1985. The aircraft served with the Golden Knights until it was retired in September 2018. It was placed in storage at AMARG and it was purchased as surplus by the Pima Air and Space Museum in March 2019. The Golden Knights have replaced the troop ships with de Havilland Canada's C-147A, a military version of the Dash 8. The nose gear wheel well of the troop ship is covered in stickers. It's common practice in military and civilian aviation circles to tag other airplanes with your unit or team's sticker. And here's the jump door where they exit the aircraft during a skydive. Now let's go on to our next aerial demonstration aircraft. Here at the museum, we have a de Havilland T-35 Vampire. The Vampire jet fighter was designed for the British Royal Air Force. Design work began in mid-1942, and the first prototype flew in September 1943. The Vampire was the second jet fighter to enter service with the RAF, although it did not see combat in World War II. The Vampire remained in RAF service as a fighter bomber until the end of the 1950s. The 2-seat trainer version was used until 1966. The Royal Australian Air Force was one of the largest users of the Vampire, with nearly 200 aircraft being built in Australia by de Havilland's Australian branch. The 2-seat T-35s were delivered between 1952 and 1954. They served with the Royal Australian Air Force until their retirement in 1970. The museum's Vampire was used by the Telstars flight demonstration team in the 1960s. The Telstars was an aerobatic display team in the Royal Australian Air Force. It was formed in 1963 from the Central Flying School in East Sale, Victoria. They flew 4 de Havilland Vampire T-35 jet trainers with white, blue, and red smoke generators. In February 1968, the Telstars aerobatic team performed for the first time with the new aircraft, the Italian-designed Aeromacchi MB326H jet trainer. However, the Telstars only flew with this new aircraft until April 1968, when the team was disbanded due to an overall Air Force-wide reduction in display flying. The Royal Navy Black Cats was made up of 2 Westland Lynx anti-submarine helicopters. The museum's Lynx was a member of the team from 2007 to at least 2011. The team was renamed the Wildcat Demonstration Team after the HMA-8s were replaced by the Augusta Westland HMA-2 Wildcat. The Westland Lynx is a British-designed multi-purpose military helicopter. The design for the Lynx started in the mid-1960s as a replacement for both the Westland Scout and Wasp helicopters. The first prototype flew in 1971 and became the first fully aerobatic helicopter. A modified Lynx also set a speed record in 1986 as the world's fastest helicopter, a record that it still holds today. Both land and ship-based versions of the Lynx went into production for the Army and Navy. The British Army Air Corps got their first Lynx in 1979, using them for utility, transport, anti-tank, search and rescue, escort, and reconnaissance missions. In 1981, the British Fleet Air Arm received their first Lynxes. The naval version incorporated many changes, including wheels instead of skids, sonar, radar, and different sensors for use in its anti-shipping, anti-submarine, anti-pirate, and ship replenishment missions. British Lynxes saw service in several conflicts, including the Northern Ireland, Kosovo, Sierra Leone, and the Middle East. It is a versatile airframe with over 40 different variants that served with the British military and were exported to 16 other foreign militaries around the world. The HMA-8s were upgraded with improved radar, larger tail rotor, and a forward-looking infrared sensor in the nose. The Lynx had a crew of 3. This helicopter also served in the Falklands War. In 1982, Argentina invaded the British overseas territory of the Falkland Islands in the South Atlantic. The British government responded by sending a fleet to take back the islands. This helicopter was assigned to HMS Andromeda during the war. This was the first Lynx to be equipped to serve as a flying decoy for Argentinian anti-ship missiles. I hope you enjoyed this series on our aircraft that flew with the Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, and other aerial demonstration teams. Please stay tuned for more videos from the Pima Air and Space Museum.